You may not like it, but you gotta go along. It ain't for the weak, it was meant for the strong. And the law is right, even when it's wrong. And the law is right, even when it's wrong. And the law is right.
How you doing? Got a cookie upstairs.
Yeah, you're right. Better keep an eye on him, okay? Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna put. I got to drink water as close as I can come.
Can I have some?
Yeah. You got your own glass?
Huh?
You got your own water?
I got an umbrella.
Plenty of water. Well, it's pretty good. I'll tell you what, let's start out here. They're getting restless. Let's sing one. Yeah, good. Get that man. Tell me, where do you come from? Tell me, where will you go? To them mountains around you, oh, them cities of gold, 'cause them cities of gold, oh, so lonely and so cold, you can lose your very soul living in cities of gold, in a land of a million secrets, and that land that gave us life gives up all its treasures and sadly hides its face and eyes. For them cities of gold, oh, so lonely and so cold, you can lose your very soul living in the cities of gold. But now the people, they said to Pharaoh, oh, you better let our children go, because we're tired of living our lives, so you can build your cities of gold. And them cities of gold, oh, so lonely and so cold, you can lose your very soul living in cities of gold. Lord, don't start. That ain't nothing. No, don't. We could sing all night if we wanted to. We get started like that, and then you could join in anytime you want. Huh? Yeah, okay, that works too, I guess. We used to sing all night sometimes, you know. We'd get in like that, but I reckon some of y'all probably like to hear a story, maybe. Yeah. Well, okay, at least we're both in the right place at the right time. Yeah, you know, there was a time now when you didn't have to run all over the country looking for somebody to tell you a story. And you didn't have to stand in line. I got and pay money for it neither. I tell you. There was a time. There was a time now, young, when every family had themselves a story to tell. Yes, sir. I was a storyteller in my family. You already figured that out? Okay, I was just, sometimes you need to check, okay? I used to tell stories all the time, tell stories about Jack and Mutsy Mac. And Mutsy Mac stories about a little girl, I like him, And I tell them to the young ones. When they's little, I tell them to, and I tell you what, it's the truth, it got to this, as soon as you finish, why, they could rattle them right back at you, just like that, just good as anybody could. Now, that's the way it's supposed to work right there. Yeah, that's the way. Yeah. But things happen in this here world, People, they change. But once upon a time, there's a fellow named Jack.
Now, he lived with his mommy. He didn't have any other kin hardly.
Well, Jack's daddy was dead, and him and his mommy, they was considered what you might say poor people.
Well, now, wait a minute. They may have been what you might say poor people, but they lived right good. Yeah.
Well, they had a garden.
Chicken.
And a pretty good old milk cow.
They had a right fair little cabin, too. At least the way she did the snow through the crack.
Yeah, but Jack, he wasn't never satisfied. He was always talking about going off to seek his fortune.
Well, now, his mommy would try and talk him out of
But
it.
Jack was dead set on lighting out.
So his mommy see, they wasn't nothing to do. So she sewed him up a new set of traveling clothes, and she baked him up a batch of journey.
And bright and early one morning, Jack lit out.
Well, he traveled along.
And traveled along.
He'd eat up all them journey cakes.
And then one day, he come to this here great big old town.
Sitting on what Jack thought was the biggest river he'd ever
And
seen.
when he stuck his hand in to get a drink,
He spit that water out. Yeah, because it tasted like coarse salt.
Oh, Jack could never see the ocean before.
well, he see these big old boats anchored off there from town.
Seen a bunch of people standing around in front of one of these boats.
So Jack, he just sort of wandered on over.
There was this one fella up there, and he was a saying,
Boys, we pay good wages for honest labor. Sign up with me and you'll come back a rich man.
Hey, Jack was right in for that.
And not only that, boys, I'm going to pay you every week, come the end of the week, and gold coin to boot.
Gold!
that done it.
Where do I sign?
They put Jack on this boat with a bunch of other fellas.
Well, they fed him a right good meal, and they just give that boy entirely too much to drink.
Well, when Jack woke up the next morning, there was chains on his ankles, and he was in the belly of a ship
Sitting beside this other fella.
with a big oar in front of him.
And when he looked around, he see that boat was plumb full of people just like him.
Chained up to them oars.
And then along come this great big fella with a whip and told him, "Start paddling, you lazy dogs."
Well, they paddled all day. Jack could see there wasn't no way to break out them
And
chains.
every time they'd slow down, that fella with that whip would set in on him again.
Next day, it was the same thing.
Now, that went on like this for about a week. And then this here other fella come in, went up and down the boat, paying everybody off in gold coin. And when he got up to old Jack, Jack says to him,
Well, what am I supposed to do with
and
this?
the fella says back to Jack,
Well, what's the matter? Ain't you happy to get paid?
No, I ain't happy to get paid when it don't look like I'm going to get to enjoy this much.
There sure must be something wrong with you, mister. I tell you, any fool would be happy to have steady work and good pay.
Well, they made him start up rowing again.
well, went on like this a week after week after week, and them old gold coins kept rolling in, and pretty soon, old Jack got to thinking.
Well, maybe I am a fool. If these fellas think I ought to be happy, maybe I should.
And so the boy set into a singing and a rowing.
And the more he sung,
The harder he rowed, and the harder he rowed, the louder he sung. These fellas had never had nobody do this before. They did not know what to make of that boy right there.
Jack worked one partner till he dropped.
And then another one.
And then another
Well,
one.
after he wore out about a dozen
They
of
let
them,
him work by himself.
finally, they promoted him all the way up to the big front oar.
And then over there, the beat of that drum.
Oh, what Jack the killer on that drum.
Finally, they put him to work up on deck.
Well, after being out of the belly of that boat, up on deck for a while, getting to feel the sun and wind and rain again, Jack decided he didn't like it on that boat. Didn't matter if his pockets was plumb full of gold, he was getting off first chance.
But now the only problem was, it didn't look like that their boat was ever going to go to land.
So when Jack spied the shoreline way off there in the distance,
He figured this might be my only chance. Jumped overboard, set into swimming.
Only problem was, see that old gold in his pockets? Yeah, it's so heavy, it just started dragging him on.
He started unloading some
got tired?
Load some more of that
And
gold.
pretty soon, boys, Jack's pocket was empty.
And he was sure he still wasn't gonna make it. His plum wore out, started floundering around there in the water.
Just before everything went black. Now, when old Jack come to, he wasn't sure if he was alive.
Or dead.
But now, if he were dead, he was sort of worried about it.
Because he's awful hot.
But when he sat up and sort of looked around, he could see why.
Somebody had done dressed him up top to bottom in a brand new fancy army uniform.
Jack looked around and saw a whole bunch of other fellas dressed up just like him.
See what it was, Jack had done landed on this here island where one half of the population was fighting the other half of the population. Lord, there hadn't been no new recruits for so long, you know. While this one bunch was all...
Oh, pleased to get Jack. How you doing?
Thank you, fellas, but I don't want to join no army.
What's the matter with you?
What do you mean you don't want to join no army?
Well, I don't even know what you fellas is fighting for.
Oh, we
We
fight
fight
for
for
freedom.
freedom.
That's what we
Yeah,
always
you're
fight
for freedom, ain't you?
Oh, yeah, but I don't want to go to fight.
Well,
If you ain't willing to fight for freedom, then I reckon you must be against
shoot him, boy.
Wait a
Shoot
minute,
him.
hold it, wait. Well, I guess I could be talking into it.
But now, he didn't really want to be no soldier, see. What he wanted to do was just get back, try to get some more of that gold. That's what he wanted.
He figured he'd just play along till he could escape.
But one day, they was traveling along, and they was ambushed.
And Jack looked up to see this other fellow
in a different uniform.
staring down the barrel of a gun pointed right at him. Jack just naturally fired back.
After all them years of hunting, that boy was a crack shot.
That other fellow fell dead.
And after the fighting, everybody run up, patting Jack on the back,
Why, Lordy, they went right ahead and give him a medal.
Extra rations.
promoting him.
And raised his pay.
Damn, boys. When old Jack seen all this commotion, all these soldier fellas was making over for just killing one fella, he got to thinking again.
Well, I must be a fool. If soldiering just easy, maybe that's what I'll be doing.
And so Jack, he set into a soldier, hard. Wasn't long, he would have talked to the whole country.
And the other side got to wishing that Jack was on their side. And they set out to capture him.
Set the whole army to do nothing but grabbing old Jack, and finally, they got him.
Next thing you know, Jack had on a different uniform, fancier than his old one.
This made them fellers Jack was fighting with before mad. And they set out to capture him back.
Well, you know, it wasn't long, and them people wasn't doing nothing but fighting over Jack.
They plumb forgot what it was they was fighting about.
Yeah, they just got to passing him backward.
It didn't matter. Jack was the most important fellow in the country. He was tired of the whole dang thing.
So one day when this here bunch of other fellas come to Jack and they told him,
Jack, we represent the religious end of things in this country.
Yeah.
We're pretty worried.
say it looked like old Jack had done become so important.
People starting to look at you like you're a god or something.
And you know they was talking about starting up the
Church of Jack. Now, Jack, we can't have just anybody coming into our
No,
religion.
can't have just anybody.
Why don't you just join up with us,
Yeah.
commit the whole thing?
I don't think I ought to do that. I mean, I've been awful sinful. I don't think I ought to be no religious leader. Besides that, all the preachers I know is awful poor.
Oh, Jack, haven't you heard some? This pays pretty good. And if you want to do good,
Yeah.
it'll stop us.
Did you say it pays pretty good?
Yeah, it pays pretty good.
Jack figured maybe he'd just give it a try.
Besides that, he was awful tired of soldiering.
Didn't look like the way he was going to be able to make his fortune.
Now, boys, I don't want to say nothing, but maybe this religion thing's the way to go at it. I don't know.
Well, it wasn't long for Jack knowed he'd found his calling. He kind of liked being a god. He had a big fine house, good food, servants, gold and silver.
And out the ward begin.
Jack figured his fortune was made.
Yeah, until one day them religion fellas come on back to Jack and told him.
Jack, there's trouble.
Huh?
You know them people that you was saying that was saying you was a god before now are saying maybe you're not a god and maybe there ought to be another religion.
That's all right. Seems to me like there's plenty to go around.
Oh, no! Now, you don't understand. If we let them people go back to being the way they was, next
Somebody's
thing you
gonna
know,
want to be the way they want.
next thing you know, we're going to be right back to where we was. And you don't want that. No, do you?
Well, what are we going to do?
Tell him, Mike, you got it. Go ahead.
I
Take it.
think we have to hang a few of them.
What?
And set an example.
I like it. It's quick and to the point.
There won't be
I
no
got it.
more problems.
Well, ain't I the fool? If that's what you fellas think we ought to do, then that's what we ought to do. I mean, you know more about this stuff than I do.
So they arrested a bunch and hung them. And things quietened down for a little while.
Yeah, but then them religion fellas got to worrying, thinking somebody else might cause them trouble.
So they set into arresting people and torturing them.
Just so they could even tell if they had an ID in their head, you know.
Pretty soon, nobody
Trusted nobody.
Jack began to think them people supposed to be protecting him just might, in fact, be his guards. He decided religion was not the way he wanted to make his fortune. Besides, he's awful homesick for that little cabin up in the hills.
So, one day when this your peddler fella come up to Jack's big house and he told
Jack,
him,
how you doing, buddy? I shall religion do dance.
Do tell.
I do now.
Yeah.
And I'm headed for the mountains. You know, I heard tell they ain't no religion at all up there. It looks like some prime religion doodads selling territory to me.
Jack determined right then he's going to pack his pockets full of that religious gold, hide out in that old peddler's wagon, and go home. He was through listening to other people tell him what to do.
Well, when Jack got back home, he found his mommy had passed on.
but the old cabin was still in pretty good shape.
So Jack set in to make things straight. It wasn't long, he had the finest place in the whole country.
Too bad he's a little touched in his head, though.
That's what folks would say, you know. Because no matter what you would try to talk about,
Jack would take the contrary side.
yeah, like you was to say to him, been hot today, ain't it?
Mighty cold.
Told you.
Yeah, that's cold. Woo.
Might hot for me.
Well, your plate's looking good. You fixed her up. I like
My life is miserable. I am having a terrible
Well, Jack,
time.
I'm sorry to hear that. Is there something I can do to help you now? I'll be glad.
Oh, no, fella, don't worry about me. I've got it made. I've got it made.
contrary
old fool. It's crazy.
Yeah, boys. Ain't I the fool? Ain't I the fool?
Yeah, I like singing them songs and telling stories, you know, like that there. You know, my daddy was a storyteller, and his granddaddy for him was a storyteller. Seems like just about in our family. Excuse me for just a minute. Now you like to cut that racket off in there. I'm trying to talk to some people out here, and just go on and said cut the goddamn noise off. Thank you. Out there, that's Benny, and that's Shirley. Benny is my nephew. Yeah. Shirley, that's my granddaughter there. About all us halls that's left around here anymore, I'll tell you. Sad to say. Now, there was a time, boys, when they could tell stories and sing and such like that, but I want you to know, people, it's got to the point where people is willing to let somebody do their singing for them. I don't know what to make of people like that, I'll tell you. I'll sing at the drop of a hat. But see, I was born on the 6th day of January, you know. 6th day of January, you know. 6th day of January. You know? Well, okay. 6th day of January. Children born on that day special. I didn't want to say it. I was hoping you'd help me with that. Now, you know, they say the children born on that day is this special. Now, they claim to be able to have powers and such, you know. See things, talk to the dead, and cure the sick and stuff like that. Now, I ain't claiming there bit that I got no powers. Now, I ain't claiming that power, but I want you all to know one thing. There will come a time in your life, boys, everybody's life, when you use whatever powers it is you can muster up. I want you to know that. Wait a minute. Excuse me, just let me look off the hill here. I think this car coming. Oh, hell, boy. That's Roy Lee Johnson. Oh, damn. It's a sheriff. Now, y'all just stay out of sight in yonder until after he's gone and out it. Whoa, wait right there. Hold right there. What do you think you're doing, girl? Come here. Come here. Get out. I said get out here. What the hell's the matter? You get out here. You think I ain't figured out every time he shows up how you just disappear into thin air, huh? Fine, I'll tell you what you do. You just stand right there. Right there. I'll go see what he wants this time.
Benny, come on out now. He's gone. Well, Benny is my cousin. Well, he's my second cousin, actually, but we always been pretty close. Hey, Benny, come on out here and let people meet you. Well, he ain't been himself since he come home. Oh, me and Benny spent us a lifetime listening to Grandpa tell them old stories. He told stories about our family, too. Halls. Now, there's other people told stories about us Halls, too, though. Some of them weren't so nice. When I was a kid, I'd hear people. They'd say, well, you better not mess with them Halls up there. Because if you mess with one, you got them all to deal with. And Lord only knows how many of them there are. But that's the way it was around here, buddy. It was bunkum for bunkum and hall for hall. Benny, you could go down there and find out what's happening. Of course, they ain't too many halls worth nothing no more. Grandpa says we either been hung,
Come out
shot,
here, boy. I want to talk to you.
run off, or moved to the city.
Benny!
And then Grandpa's
said come
mom
out
was
here.
all about the same thing.
Well, son, the door swings two ways. I can come in here
Grandpa
just
also says, trouble with the
Yeah.
world today
What are you trying to
is
do?
that people don't believe
Come
there's
here.
giants
Come here.
anymore.
Tell me something, son. How did you get your hand cut there? That's all I want to know. Just tell me that.
You think that bothers me? Well, it don't. It don't bother me one bit. You want me to show you?
Go
I'll
ahead.
do it
Benny,
again.
stop that.
These people dying in Nam every day. You think I'm afraid of pain, huh?
Son, look around you. You ain't in Vietnam now. Now, I'm just real sorry you didn't get your head blowed off over there. But I'll tell you one thing, mister. You're going to have to learn
Grandpa,
to live with
leave
that.
him alone.
You know what he done? You know what he done? That boy took his knife and laid his hand open. That's what he done. Showing out for some little old girl who works down yonder at Neal's Cafe. Boy, you impressed the hell out of her, didn't you, son? Well, the poor little thing fainted right dead on the floor is what happened. And Neal's down there having herself a fit. And Roy Lee's up here in my face telling me he catch you downtown again, buddy. You gonna go to jail. Or maybe he's just gonna go ahead and shoot you.
Yeah, well, I ain't afraid of Roy Lee Johnson.
Well, now, son, maybe you ain't afraid to go to Lee Johnson, but I'll tell you one thing, you better be. Maybe it ain't just him. Them people in that town down there, son, is scared to death of you. Don't you see that? Well, my God, he could shoot you for spitting out on the street. Hell, they'd stand there and applaud for
What
it.
did Morley want?
Nothing.
Hey, what's that?
What?
That piece of paper that's in your pocket.
It's the same damn old junk it always is.
Well, what does it say?
Well, if you want to know so bad, you can read, can't you?
Grandpa, this is an eviction notice. It says you got 30 days to vacate under the right of eminent domain.
Now, what the hell does that mean?
Did the Southeast Electric Power Company offer to buy your land? It says here that they sent you notice 6 months ago and you failed to respond. Did you get a notice?
I get all kinds of junk in the mail, I just don't read it.
Grandpa, this says they're going to take your land.
Well, did you hear her? He don't want to hear you.
Yes, I heard her. If you be quiet, I'd hear the rest of it there now. All right, go on, finish her up. I got you so hot to know everything
Well, I
going
can't
on.
figure it all out. But it looks like the government's going to let this power company come in here, build a dam, and something called a pump storage generating plant.
What?
A pump storage generating plant.
What is that thing? What's that mean?
I don't know any more than you do.
You know what
if
that
you'd have
means?
been decent to Roy Lee, he'd have sat down here and explained this to us.
Oh my God, girl. Jesus.
Why do you two got to be that way? Now, Roy Lee has gone out of his way to be nice to us.
Yeah, well, maybe you've gone out of your way to be nice.
You watch your mouth and rules, mister. Because if Roy Lee didn't come up here every now and then, I wouldn't see nobody but you two. I'm cut off from civilization, and I can't talk to nobody, find out nothing. You, when are you going to get a phone? If you had the Flintstones had a phone. If you had no, there ain't no phone. I
sitting down, you ain't going nowhere, and you ain't gonna be talking to nobody, and you better listen to me right careful like.
Royally ain't as bad as you think. He cares for me. And I need somebody to care for me.
I bet he ain't proposed, has he?
All right, it's enough of them foolishness. Now, Shirley, now I know that everybody needs somebody to care about them. You think I don't know that, but I do. And I hope someday that you can find yourself somebody. But I'm here to tell you it ain't that boy, Lee Johnson. That boy and his kind have run our people to ground more times than I would even care to think. I'll tell you what I think about that boy. I think about sometimes he's about 2 weeks away from being a live human being. That's exactly what I think about.
Sometimes you're a mean old man.
God, you may just be right about that, honey. But I'll tell you one thing, it don't change nothing in this world. You want me to tell you about Roy Lee Johnson, don't you? Okay, I'm going to tell you what kind of man we're talking about here. Not more than 10 minutes ago, he was right here in my face on my land, telling me, you kick up a fuss about this here Earl, and I'll be glad, son. I'll be glad to see you all rot in jail. Now that's what you're talking about.
He didn't mean all of us.
My God almighty. I swear to God, you somehow think that you are left out of this, don't you? You think that if he comes, he'll just take me and Benny. Is that what you think?
Yeah, how about if I just take him to hell with me, huh?
How can my seeing Roy Lee hurt us?
But watch what you do. Watch what you say. Somebody hears you, you pray. And everybody's guilty in somebody's eyes. It don't matter if it's true, if it's a lie. 'Cause the law is right, even when it's wrong. You may not like it, but you gotta go along. It ain't for the weak, it was meant for the strong. And the law is right, even when it's wrong. Lord, you can run, but you can't hide. The evil you do, it lives inside. And even if you hide, you can't get away. For everything you do, you're gonna pay and pay. The law is right, even when it's wrong. You may not like it, but you gotta go along. It ain't for the weak, it was meant for the strong. Right, even when it's wrong. Now, you can run, but you can't hide. You can run, but you can't hide. Oh, justice is blind. That's what I say. So you better not get in the way. 'Cause money is the hand that moves the pen. Boys, you can play the game, you can't win. 'Cause the law is right, even when it's wrong. You may not like it, but you gotta go along. It ain't for the weak, it was meant for the strong. And the law is right, even when it's wrong. And the law is right, even when it's wrong. And the law is right. All right, that's enough of that. I'm gonna go down to town here, son. I'm gonna talk to the judge and see if I can find out what this here's all about. Find out how much it's going to cost us to get out of it. Why don't you just stay out of trouble while I'm gone, you know? You don't have to do it, just try. How come us to be right here in the first place? In a story that I hear told went back a long ways. The way I heard it said they was a king in the old country. Kind of feller to like keep people for slaves, you know. Yeah. Well, no, ain't nobody like to be no slave. I mean, you understand that, don't you? And so them people decided, God, they wasn't going to put up with that foolishness. God, they're just going to leave that place and start their own country. And so that's what they done. They left right out of there, following around behind this sheriff feller. We call him Jack. Some people got another name for him, but we led them off to the new country. First time they got to this place, oh, it's a terrible land, terrible swampy and muddy. Oh, Lord, no food, there wasn't no water. Lord, have mercy, children. They had skeeters out there. That was, I swear, now on big sunbirds. Well, no, you can laugh, but when them boys bit you, you stay hit for a while. And them people, you know, set into a hollering and moaning and a carrying on and said, well, what's the matter here? Wasn't there enough graveyards over home? You had to bring us over here and start your own, huh? Yeah, that's the way people think. And so Jack, he set out a scouting. That's what he done. Left them people in camp, set out a scouting, you know. Coming up, Lord, towards the end of the day, he noticed that all the animals all around him was sort of heading off toward him one direction like that. Jack, he kind of snuck in behind like this. Started following along with him, you know. And directly he see where they was going to. There's a big old spring bubbling up out of the ground there. And old Jack got him a big old rock and run over and just daubed that spring up kind of. And then he run on back into the camp, you know, and he told them people, he said, come on, get up from there. What's the matter, you all? Lord, we have come to a wonderful land. It's just wonderful out here. I want you to know that there is water under every rock. If you know where to find it. Sort of made them people mad, you know, so they says to him, well, if you're so smart, let's see you do it. Bet you 5 kings, eh? It's the bet. So off they went, following along behind Jack on into the wilderness, you know. Come to that there big old rock, and Jack looks at her and says, yeah, right there, there's water right there. Just roll that away. They didn't really. But he talked his brothers Will and Tom into moving that rock for him, you know. And when they done it, of course, that water where it been daubed up, oh, it just come squirting up out of there. And then kind of went back in and got. And them people all run over. Grabbed their canteens and containers, you know, drunk their bellies full and filled them up and went along behind Jack saying, why, of course, they had believed in him all the time. Yeah, fine, until they run out of food. Didn't have no journey cakes. Didn't have no flour for which to make no more journey cakes, and you got it, they said in the bitching and moaning again. That's what they done. Now, Jack, he had to set out a scouting again, had to go out and look in there. That's the time he found them bread trees. You already know that story, huh? Well, I'll tell you now. The way I look at it, they had a time out there in that wilderness. Lord have mercy, they did. But you know somehow or another, they always pulled through it. Yes, sir. Now, I ain't saying all of them done it. Now, the weakest one of them died out, and that there's the way it works. Now, that's all there is to it. Some of the wild ones, you know, took off running after the game. Lord, we ain't seen to hear tell that bunch since. They tell me they're alive up in New York City somewhere. But the strongest of them, kept on climbing. Higher and higher till we come to the mountains. Oh, mountains high, stretching out over river valleys. There was game in the woods. There was fish in the stream. Lordy, looky here, children, looky here. We have come home. That's the way I hear it. That's what that fellow Jack said.
Sometimes he is a mean old man. And I don't understand nothing he says. And then there's other times he's the only thing that makes any sense. That's why me and Betty's up here. There ain't no place else for us. I never will forget the day. I was up in a bar, I was in Dayton. And I looked up, and there he stood. He took me by my arm and told me I was coming with him back home. He said that we needed each other. And when I got here, Benny was already here. You see, when Benny come back from Vietnam, after they throwed him out of the army, well, he just wandered around. And Grandpa went to California and found him. I never knowed he'd been further than town in his life. And I asked him, How did he know? How did he find us? He just looked at me. Sometimes he is just scary as hell. You can't tell what he's thinking. But between him and Benny, it ain't no wonder I took up with Roy Lee Johnson. I asked Grandpa again, what do you want from me? You know what he said? Just for you to feel at home. I don't even know what that means. But I know he was wanting something. Because it seems like no matter what you do, somebody is always wanting something from you. Mm-hmm. Well, there's things I want too. Things I don't want. I just can't tell the difference no more. I'm sure you think that you know me. You've seen me somewhere in your life. Well, I'm a girl in a bar, a picture in a magazine. I'm somebody's darling, bloody wife. But I can't hide from the eyes that look through me. But I won't veil my face or turn away. I won't run from my life. I may not be right, but one time I'd just like to say, I don't want to be nobody's mama. I don't want to be nobody's girl. I just need one thing to believe in. Someone who needs me in this world. Sometimes I feel like a river, about to drown in my own fears. Sometimes I feel like a useless drop of rain, with no way of putting my tears. But I don't want to be nobody's mama. I don't want to be nobody's girl. I just need one thing to believe in. Someone who needs me in this world. Someone who needs me in this world. What did the judge say? Is he gonna let us stay?
Shirley, why didn't you go on and tell me that there was a federal judge's name on the paper?
Well, I didn't know. Well, what does that mean?
What does that mean? It means every crooked son of a bitch from Washington, D.C. down to Roy Lee Johnson's in on this is exactly what it means. Ain't no wonder that boy's done act like he skinned us out and hung us out to dry.
Yeah, we'll just see who gets skinned out.
Grandpa, what did the judge say?
The judge, he said, now look here, Mr. Hall, it is for the common good that you give up your land. And then he says to me, if I'd throw in with him and Roy Lee, we robbed the damn power company blind. That's what he said to me. Now look, everybody in that town down yonder is looking to make themselves a killing off in this thing, but boys, right here's where they're aiming to do it.
Well, we got something else coming to mail today.
I thought you said they wasn't no mail.
Well, I was waiting for Grandpa.
Well, he's here. What is it? Shirley, I ain't got time to fool with you today. Now tell me what it is.
It's from the health department.
Well, what does it say?
Saying if we're going to move our dead, then they've got to supervise the removal.
My God almighty. I swear to God, don't people just talk to people no more? This here world is being run by little pieces of paper. When first we come into this country, our rifles in our hands, we thought for sure that we'd been brought straight to the promised promised land. But promises are like the clouds, they float off with the breeze, and doubts and fears is no rust as the forest has trees.
So I just
Load up the wagon, throw in the kids, and promise the wife again. Don't worry, little dear, this is the last time. We're headed for the promised land. But it's work and toil, sweat and tears for everything you want, and in a lifetime, maybe two, you can build yourself a home. And the house built on that solid rock will forever stand. But there's nothing in this world as fleeting as them things what are built by man.
So it's
Load up the wagon, throw in the kids, and promise the wife again. Don't worry, little dear, this is the last time. We're headed for the promised land.
Did you hear what she said?
Yes, son, I heard what she said.
Well, what about a lawyer?
A lawyer? There was not a lawyer in that whole town that would even let me through their front door. Now, people, I want you to know, when them there fellers won't take your money, you are knee deep in it then, buddy.
Grandpa, ain't there nobody that can help us?
Well, yeah, surely there was a feller down to the bank, just the nicest little feller ever was. He said to me, now, Mr. Hall, what I'd like to do for you to help you out is just go on and buy your land from you now and save you all that trouble. That's what he said.
Maybe you just sell it to them while you can.
And people don't want our land. And people don't care about our land. The first thing that they're going to do is come up here and cut down every stick of timber I got left standing on this here place. And then they tear it all to hell and digging up that old coal that's laying in here. And when they put that storage thing and flood the gorge, well, hell, there won't be no more land. Them people don't care about our land, Shirley, any more than they care about the people that's here trying to live on this here land. Or them the people that's laying out yonder, buried under this land. My people goes right
Don't
back.
start no story about our people. What good the story about our people gonna do us?
Grandpa, it takes money to live in this world. We can buy more land.
Shirley, you can't own land with money. No, sir, girl. Any more than you can own a story with money. Now, I was saying here, my people has lived on this land. We have died on this land, and now God, that there gives me more right than anybody for being here my way of
How
looking
are
at it.
you gonna stop them from coming up here and taking it?
Son, we fit for it before, and I reckon we still got a little backbone in us to do it again.
What makes you think, Earl, that you can come up here, that you can stop the United States government from doing what it wants?
U.S. government, my ass. You're the very one, son. You want to know the truth. I want to tell you. You the one make me think it.
Me?
That's right, you. That's who.
Well, how do you figure that?
Well, now, you told me yourself, didn't you? Now, you told me that them there Vietnamese fellers are doing it right now, ain't they? They run you off, didn't they, bud?
Hey, you think I'm afraid to die or open a gun on them, don't you?
Son, you said it.
Yeah, don't you?
Okay.
Well, hey, I never run off.
Well.
I never give up.
Okay.
And I ain't quit fighting.
Well, fine.
But I ain't dying for you.
Son, you're already dead. Your problem is you ain't decent enough to go on and lay down. That's your problem.
What the hell are you talking about?
I'll tell you exactly what I'm talking about. To live in this here world, there has got to be some things that you are willing to die.
Yeah, like what?
Family, home, and this here little miserable piece of land.
This land don't mean nothing.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can take it one day and give it back the
I
next.
hear you, I hear
If
you.
you ain't never had to fight and see people die, you don't understand nothing.
Well, God almighty, son, why don't you tell me? You here? Tell me. I'd like to know all about
Let
it.
me, Grandpa.
Come on,
Leave
boy.
him alone.
You come on, girl. Keep on taking up for him the way you always do. Fine, you see where it gets you, don't you? That's fine. Okay, fine. You two just keep it up. But I'm just about sick and tired of fooling with the both of you now.
Hey, I don't need you to take up for me.
Well, you're welcome.
Well, women of your kind are all the same.
Oh, women of my kind?
Yeah,
Just what is a woman of my kind, Benny?
I know about you and David.
Oh, you don't know nothing about me.
I know about whores.
Well, I don't know nothing about you big, brave soldier boys. Except for the rumors I heard, of course. But you weren't doing too good with the women either.
Oh, just shut up,
Oh,
just shut
my
up.
husband. Well, that's okay because women of my kind like
She spit on me, called me names.
Who did?
When I got home, I got off the plane. There was people waiting at the gate. I thought they was friends and relatives of the guys getting back. This one girl, she run up to me. She had long red hair down her back. I thought she was going to hug my neck or something. But I couldn't hear her for all the noise. I leaned toward her, and she spit in my face and threw red paint on my uniform. They never told us that people back here hated us. They never told us. I went walking one morning. The devil, he took me by the hand. Said, come on, let me show you around my little place. I call it Vietnam. Ain't so much to look at. A quaint little jungle land. Before I'm through, it'll mean the world. You won't forget Vietnam. Vietnam's the sweetest flowers. Vietnam, it'll steal your heart, steal your mind. From all you space-age children, you're never gonna understand. You want to see real living and dying, come over. Pride's the first thing to leave. Fear is the last thing to run. You can't see too well because you're staring into hell down the barrel of a gun. Vietnam with the sweetest flowers. Vietnam will steal your heart, steal your mind. Mama, don't you know me? I'm home. I went walking one morning. The devil, he took me by the hand. Said, come on, let me show you around my little place. Call it Vietnam. Ain't so much to look at. Quaint little jungle land. Before I'm through, you won't forget Vietnam. You won't forget Vietnam. You won't forget Vietnam.
Benny, you remember when we was kids? Benny, listen to me. Do you remember the hayloft? And you remember how when we was kids, how we would make brown sugar biscuits, take them and hide out. You remember that? We used to lay up there hid away from everybody and tell secrets, and we would talk about the way our lives was going to be. Now, we had some highfalutin dreams. I remember I was going to be a nurse. And you?
I was going to sing on the Grand Ole Opry.
You do Now, do you want to know what happened in Dayton? Benny, I want you to know.
Well, I don't want to know.
Have you ever been in love? Benny, listen to me. Have you ever been in love? I'm talking about the kind of love that chills you to the bone. I'm talking about the kind of love where half the time you're scared to death you're going to lose it, and the other half the time you're scared to death it's going to be like this forever. A love where you would do anything. I mean anything that's asked of you. Well, when I was a kid, remember we grew up listening to them ballads? When I die, won't you bury me deep? Place a stone at my head and feet, and on my breast place a snow white dove to tell the world I died for love. The people died for love. I reckon I thought it's all a joke. Ain't nobody dies because of love. Well, not in the 20th century, for Christ's sake. But a teenager about run over by a train. But now that was the sweet sting of death. It wasn't mean or cruel. When you become an angel, love forever in people's memories. And when we went to Dayton, I was so excited about moving to a big city because I was going to get new clothes and go to see movies and play with other kids that wasn't my cut. But I never did fit in. I tried, but I was just too different. Well, Mommy said, it wasn't me different, it was him. It didn't feel like that to me. Because I got to thinking there was something wrong with me. Until I met Frankie. Oh, he was the prettiest man in this world. And he was real popular too. Everybody liked Frankie. Frankie turned me on to dope. He was selling it. That's why he was so popular. But it wouldn't matter none to me. Oh, Lord, that man could do no wrong. But now Daddy didn't like Frankie. That's when me and him started fighting all the time. Between him and Mom, I quit school and I moved in with Frankie. And we lived high. And then when I got pregnant, he started leaving me at home by myself. And that man got mean. I started drinking bad. That only made things worse. And there was one time I pulled a knife on him. And he beat me up so bad that I had to go to the hospital. And I lost my baby. But Frankie come in to see me, begging me to come with him back home. He acted so hurt and sweet. I couldn't turn him down. I never could. Things was all right for a while. But pretty soon they was worse than before. He was gone all the time and I was drinking and it was just fight. And then he come in one night and told me to pack up my bags and get out. Because he had him a new girlfriend moving in the next day. I stabbed him twice before he got out the door. And I went to jail. Well, that's where I met Shireen. Now, Shireen laughed when I told her what I did. She said, good for you. And Shireen told me that she was in jail for doing the bad spring booty. I didn't know what she meant till she told me. And I figured I didn't need me no more men. But you got to have somebody. I couldn't go home because I was too ashamed. So I moved in with Shireen, and all we done was drink. and lay up with men. But Shireen said, she said, honey, if you have to have a man, make him pay. And that is when Grandpa found me. Benny, do you remember when we was kids and we was leaving for Dayton? Grandpa said something to Daddy, and I never did forget it. What he said was that every man had to look at himself like he was leaving Egypt. Well, that was always one of my favorite stories, because going to Dayton was like a promised land. But I ended up in a wilderness believing in nothing or nobody. But Grandpa was saying is, it don't matter where you end up. You got to remember who you are and where you come from and the people that you come out of. Benny, it don't matter what me and you have become, because there's going to be those kids in that hayloft as long as one of us remembers that.
Well, when I was in I got this crazy notion one day that I was shrinking. I was just getting smaller and smaller. And then I just find myself wandering around looking for something.
But that wasn't you over there, Benny.
Well, who the hell was it? You know that story, that old black man that got his arm blowed off building a railroad tunnel through Pine Mountain? And sometimes at night, when the wind's just right, you can hear him crying and moaning, walking up in that tunnel, looking for him. Well, that's me. I'm looking for parts of me that I left scattered around.
Benny, you couldn't find yourself because it wasn't you. Now listen to me, that old man may be doomed to look forever, but you ain't. Because this is where you belong. And this is where we're going to stay.
Well, Shirley, you don't understand. Them big giants he's always talking about, they are real, all right. There's one of them fixing to come down here and swallow us up.
Well, we're going to figure out a way and stop it.
Well, how are we going to do that?
Don't know. But I still think that Roy can help us.
Like that fella in Dayton helped you? You don't get it, do you? Honey, we don't get help. We get used.
I am through being used.
What y'all talking about out there? What is it? Huh?
Nothing.
Well, now I heard you talking about something. Don't tell me nothing. Fine. All right, fine. Now you see right where we end up. I admit. Now, I'm the first one to admit I never was one to hold my tongue, and I admit it. And I don't care if it hurts some people's feelings, too. I say the truth. Now, they used to tell me, your problem, you just too much like your grandpa. That's what's the matter with you. I never did know my grandpa. They always talking about my great-grandpa all the time. I never knowed him, never see a picture of him. I don't reckon there was one, but I was laying in here resting and thinking, just a minute, go on this here thing. I reckon I must have had me like a dream, because I was laying in there in that bed, and Grandpa come right to me and said he wanted to see me, wanted to talk to me. And took me to meet him down there at that big old barn he built in the field, and I run down there just as fast as I could go, and I got y'all looking, yonder he come walking across that field, big as Pete. Yes, sir. But you know, I still couldn't see his face. He had an old hat like this in here, and he done pulled it way down over his eyes like that. He kind of just walked right up to me and raised up his head. It was me.
Grandpa.
Why, God.
There's a car coming.
What?
There's a car coming.
Car. Well, I better go see who it is, I reckon. I'll tell you what, the truth is getting popular as hell.
Benny, Grandpa's acting strange.
You just now figuring that out?
No, I never knew Grandpa would have a problem that he couldn't handle. I never even thought of him as somebody who could die.
It happens to the best of us.
Somehow I always thought of him as being here. Like this land.
It ain't nothing permanent. Not people and not this land.
Benny, we ain't air that just blows away. Now, even if he dies, I'm always going to remember him. In this house, in that chair, like I remembered you in the hayloft.
Yeah, and like I remember Vietnam.
Fine. If that is what's important to you, I guess so. But it don't seem to me like it's something you want to keep fighting to hang on to.
Well, I guess that's because you ain't never had to fight.
I have fought all of my life.
Now, God, you're at it again. Now, would you like to tell me this time what you know?
Who was it?
Well, now, boys, I'll tell you one thing. We got us a fella right down there from the power company this
Well, what
time.
did he want?
Got himself a court order. Yeah. Got himself a court order. Says we got to let him run them survey lines right here. Roy Lee Johnson. You remember that skinny lady some bitch named Roy Lee Johnson, honey? Yeah. Well, he's the one that sent him up here. Said, why, yeah, mister, go right on up. Why, you know them halls ain't gonna cause you no trouble.
They're pretty sure of themselves, ain't they?
Lord.
Or us.
I have to give it to them, boys. Them fellers has worked themselves up a gall, all right. You know what that feller said? Wants to stay here. That's right. That's right. Wants to stay right here. Have me show him my land before he brings in his working crew. Yes, sir. Just went right on ahead and give me $100 to do it.
You're gonna let him stay?
That's right. I'm gonna let him stay. I'm gonna let him stay. Because they're hoping I'm going to run that fella off. That's right. They got one reason for him being here. I got me another reason for wanting him here. Yes, sir. See, I tell you what. They just hoping I run him off so they come up here and have themselves an excuse. But not me, buddy. I found me a new member of the family. Hey, Bubba, come on up here. Why don't you go down there and help your newfound cousin get his junk out of his station? Go on. Benny, now I ain't got time and I ain't in the mood to be fooling with you today, boy. Now I said get down yonder and help that man with his junk, and I mean it right now. And while you're out there, you might just go ahead and kill us a couple of fried chickens too, because I'm sort of getting hungry for chicken biscuits. Come here, I want to talk to you. Come here. I want you to go yonder. I want you to call Roy Lee Johnson. And I want you to tell him real nice, like say, now, I've gone up and have breakfast with us. We just like to talk to you a little bit. Can you do that? And don't you let nobody else hear you know. Don't let them know.
Of course I can, but what are you talking about?
You get him up here. You get him.
Grandpa's talking crazy about inviting Roy Lee up here for breakfast.
Like hell.
Stay out of this, son.
What do you think you are doing, Earl?
Stay out of this, son.
What do you think you're doing?
I'm doing what I got to do, boy. Let me give you a lesson here. Now, looky here. Sometimes when you're after that snake, well, you can't get his head the first lick, you know. But if you break his back, high doggies, he'll slow down, son, I'll tell you.
Snake? Man, you're crazy. You are crazy. Hey, you're crazier than I am.
You could be right. But I ain't sitting here. And I ain't letting that dirty bunch of people come up here and run me off of my land. And I want you both to understand this right now. I am going to do whatever I got to do to hold on to it. That's right. Now, if you'd like to give me maybe just a little assistance here, and help me out just a little bit, could you go out there and kill me a couple of them fried chickens? You don't need no hatchet. You take that there fancy thing there and cut their heads off. Hell, you might like that, son. Go on now. Go on, do what I told you to do.
You know something like this was going to happen, didn't you? That's why me and Benny's up here.
Well, I reckon everybody got to be somewhere, don't they?
You know what I mean.
You're here. You're right here because you need to be right here. Now, girl, go on and do what I told you to do.
Well, I'll do what I want to do.
Well, fine. Well, fine. Hell, fine me. Why don't you just go on and do whatever it is that suits you?
I'll go bake some biscuits.
That'd be just fine with me. When we first come here, I tell you, boys, it looked like we had come to paradise. People started in clearing up land and building themselves some homes, and I swear to God, it wasn't hardly no time at all. We done figured out we'd moved into a nest of giants and vipers, boys. Yes, sir. Whole family of giants live right next door to the settlement. That's what, old man and a woman, a boy and a girl, a bunch of, you know. They started coming into the settlement, poking their noses into everything, looking in there and just, you know, like to scare them people to death, you know. And then finally, after a while, you know, they got used to it. I swear to God, people can get used to anything. It got to where they could come up and stick their eyeballs in the window, and them people wouldn't even blink at them, buddy. Yeah. And then one day, you know, what happened was some fellow a giant was walking along. The fellow looked up at him and says, "Excuse me, Mr. John, could you move this here big old rock for me?" Next thing you know, some fellow wanted to know, "Could you pull up this tree for me? How about build me a house? How about build me a barn?" Next thing you know, our goddamn giants was doing all the work. Them people was laying back and watching. Hell, they plumb forgot how to work, boys. And then, instead of spreading out and moving and living like civilized people are supposed to do, no, they started moving in right around to feed them giants, just glomming right up on top of each other, buddy. Next thing you know, property started disappearing. Neighbors started blaming neighbors. Family started fighting with family. It got to where nobody could trust nobody in this here world. And then, finally, somebody noticed. They started looking around, and they saw that it was the children that was starting to disappear. Ain't that a thing? Got no more crows sitting on them. No more crows sitting on them. But this ain't near the end of my song. When he fell off, 4 more flew on. And here is the moral. It won't take me long. There'll be crows as long as there's corn. There'll be crows as long as there's corn. There'll be crows as long as there's corn. I done set out here on something I reckon a fella ought to follow what he starts to the end. told you how we come to be here. And I told you how we started clearing up the land and the giants and all that six and stuff. And I told you about how the children started to disappear. There wasn't too many of them, just 3 or 4 years, something like that. And them people, shape they's in, my lordy, they didn't even hardly pay it no mind at all. Just landed on the wilderness or wild animals or something like that. But Jack, you ever hit where something else now? Yes, sir. He set into watching them giants. That's what he done. Come what much you might call a giant expert, actually. One day come the spring of the year, all the giants was over into the settlement helping out with planting and such. And Jack noticed now, oh, wait a minute here. That old woman wasn't with them. And so what he done, he snuck over out of where they lived. Yeah. And he looked back and he seen all she was cooking, all sort of good things there. And directly, though, she loaded him into this great big old basket and went off out into the woods. Jack falling right in behind her. Directly, she come to this here big old cave. Looked around. Went on in. Jack, he could see this kind of a funny-looking red light coming up out of that cave, and so he snuck up a little bit further so maybe he could get himself a look at. God almighty! Oh, Lordy! That was awful to smell and welcome and all that thing. Oh. But he looked in. He seen that there smell. And that funny-looking light was coming up out of a great big old pit that was right there in the center. Okay. That old woman, what she was doing was taking that food and tearing it up into these here little bitty bits and pieces and throwing it down in that fiery pit and talking in this here language what Jack had never ever heard before. It went like, Ich bei Thoma, Astade, Hope, Ich bei. Kept on talking, throwing it down in that hole. Directly, though, she left out of there, and Jack, he snuck on in that cave, see what was going on in there. He looked up here on the wall, you know, he see all kinds of strange markings and tracings on this old wall. He run his finger down over top of some of them, and it's old, dried up. And then back over here, he run his finger down over some more of them, and he looked, oh my Lordy mercy, there was fresh blood there on his finger. And then, what did he see next? Like two scared him to death. Because there, around that fiery pit, laid the clothes of little children, little boys and little girls' clothes, yeah. And Jack, he just run out of that there thing. He run all the way back into the settlement, and he told them people what he had seen, and he told them what it meant, and them there people didn't believe him. He run to his family. He told his family, and he told me, Jack's own family. His own family did not believe in him. But he told them he got to have some help. He had a plan. But see, he needed some help with it. See, Jack's brother Tom was a blacksmith, and he had the biggest old anvil around you ever see. Oh, Lord, it took 3 fellas to carry it. Couldn't one old man lift it. And Jack said, you just help me carry it out there in the woods, and I'll do the rest. And they said, okay. Now, we're going to help you get out there in the woods, but we ain't waiting around in no cave all night for a bunch of giants. Just forget it. So they helped him carry that handful into that cave. He got him to put it down right there on the edge, that far pit. His brothers run off and left him to wait for them giants. And here they come. Here they come. Right. Had a little boy in their arms this time. And Jack just stepped right out of that hiding place and said, "Hey, fellas, how you all doing? Yeah, the great God of the underworld. He's the one that sent me here. Yeah, and said he had a message for you. He wants to come up. Yeah, he set the little boy down. I'll tell you how to do it. It's what they set the little boy down. And off we run. Now what he said was this. Said that y'all been doing so good, he wants to reward you for all the nice things you're doing, and he wants to come up, and all you have to do is pull him up. Yeah, you're the only ones he trusts. You big ones, and yeah, he said you can do it. And he told me how, get them and tie them together real good and tight so they can pull all at once. That's a good plan. I like it. Yes. Okay. And then he said, now this is real important here. Now make sure you get them blindfolds. Well, of course you got to be blindfolded. Well, Carl, when he comes up out of that hole, if you look at him when he first comes up, you're going to go blind. Ain't no need for him coming in, is it? Okay. So, Jack got them old giants, lined them up right on the edge of that pit. The old man here, boy, woman, and girl, tied them all together with that big rope. Had them put them there blindfolds over their eyes. And then he snuck over to the other end of that big rope, tied it around that big anvil, all loose of both feet, kicked it into that fiery pit, pulling every one of them giants right in behind it. And old Jack, he just danced and sung at the sourwood melted.
Yeah, well, it's just too bad things ain't simple for you out for old Jack, huh?
Well, now, wait a minute. Who says they ain't as simple for me as they are for old Jack, son?
What are you talking about?
Who says I ain't got everything that I need right here on my land to handle any problems I got?
What do you mean, Grandpa?
Yeah, he's talking to hear his head rattle. That's what he means. It's like them little stories he used to tell us about the little people that lived around here. Yeah, when I was a young'un, I like to run my fool self to death looking for them.
Oh, God, you looked for something, didn't you? I never said I see no little people. I just told a story of what held out a promise could be.
Yeah, like that you just told. I
That's
suppose
right.
that we're supposed to find some kind of moral or another in that.
Well, let me tell you something now, son. You don't have to hold everything up to the light to see it. Now, there is things in this here world that people can know before they ever believe it. I want you to know you can believe before you ever know. That's a fact.
Well, did you understand any of that?
Grandpa, we know what you're talking about.
I'm going to tell you. When my great-grandma...
Oh, God, here he goes again.
My great-grandpa come here. It weren't no coincidental thing we happened to be here. What's the matter with you? They were a voice that spoke to Grandpa and told him that right here was the place for the hogs to settle. Right here, this little gap between Virginia and Kentucky, boys. And Grandpa being a sharp businessman, figured he might get him a little business.
Yeah, well,
here,
that voice man know the land, but Grandpa didn't know much about business, did he?
Whoa, wait a minute here. You can't tell me you know this here story?
Well, I ought to. You told it about 100 times.
Son, that don't mean you listened once, I'll tell you that.
I know it.
You know it?
I know it better than you do.
Well, dog, you know what? I just love to hear you tell it. Why don't you tell it? Come on.
Well, I can tell him. Well, the second winter great-grandpa was here, he's just about ready to call it quits when he got in an argument with that peddler. As a peddler come in here to spend the night with great-grandpa. Him and great-grandpa got to arguing, got to drinking some of Grandpa's
Peddler
corn.
started bothering great-grandma, that's what happened.
Well, I'll be doggone Benny Shirley knows
I know
it too.
the
Look
story,
at that, I swear.
Well, Grandpa thumped him one. The peddler fell, hit his head on the hearth, and he
There
was
was
one less peddler
peddler in the world.
Yeah.
And that's how we got here.
Uh-oh. You ain't quit, have you?
Well, that's it.
Lord have mercy. My goodness sakes of living. Benny, you know, I just figured out something right here. You might not know everything in this world. I'll tell you one thing, boy. There's things about your own family that you uns don't even know about. I think maybe it's time. Yes, sir. I got me feeling it's time you learned who you are and where you come from, boys. Grandpa will come in here, just like he said. But there's something else. When he started exploring around here, looking around to see what he'd found, down here below the house there's a big gorge down there full of caves, and Grandpa found this here cave. It ain't no ordinary cave. 'Cause in this here cave, there's a pond. I reckon she made a 12, 14 foot around, something like that. 2 times a day, that old pond start glowing bright red up underneath. And then she just start swirling around. Kapow! Oh, bottom drops out of her. Ah, doggone whatever is in there gets sucked into the bowels of the earth. Ain't never seen or heard tell from again, boys. I think we got us a shortcut straight to hell. Now, whatever it is, the suck has been in the Hall family ever since great-grandpa. Why, you know, they ain't nobody in this world knows about it but us. And that dog, yes, sir. And Grandpa throwed that there peddler fella in that suck and kept his produce and kept his wagon and made her through the winter. That's how we got here.
Grandpa, that's just a legend. That place don't exist.
Hey, is that what you're going to do with that surveyor? Oh, get serious, man. Well, what about Roy Lee?
Well, now, I'll tell you what, that boy's head has got a mite big lately, but I swear to God, I believe I can stuff him in there.
I am not bringing Roy Lee up here.
Well, now, girl, you done come to work. You ain't got no choice. Get out of my face, boy.
Nobody going in no hole because they ain't no hole.
You done showed these people you don't know everything in this world, son. How come you think these people have let us be all these years? Every time we have got ourselves into trouble. God damn it, we've got ourselves out.
Chugging people down some hole and you know where it's at. Well, how do you expect anybody to believe that?
It's not true, is it?
You're starting to wonder, though, ain't you? Look at him, look at him. You started to worry about it a little bit, didn't you? Yeah, that's right. And I want you both to know them people down yonder have been worried about it a long time. I swear to God, they lay awake at nights wondering about it. Why in the hell do you think we've managed to hang on here?
But it is not true, is it?
God damn it, boy, what difference does it make in this world if it's true or not, if people believe it?
Yeah, I know what you're doing.
Well, I'll be damned, it's about time. I want you to know, son, right here, you can get in this family, or you can get the hell off my land right now, and I don't care which one.
He is talking about killing people like it's some kind of damn
Well,
jacktail.
he's just joking, Benny. He
Just
didn't
shut
mean
up,
it.
Shirley.
Whoa! Now, you just stepped over the line there, mister. You just
stepped right. God damn you, boy, I do believe you don't believe in nothing. God damn, you don't believe in yourself. You don't even believe in the people like Benny, no!
You want to talk about killing? Okay, I'll show you just how easy it is. I'll pull a knife across your throat and you're dead. It's that easy.
Grandpa, we can't kill everybody.
You want to hear a story? Okay. I'll tell you a story. Up in the mountains, there was these people. They live like mountain people here. I laid up on a ridge looking down at their village. There was women, children, pigs. I felt like I was home instead of someplace else. I dropped my pack and my weapon, and then I took off all of my clothes. And I walked right down into that village, buck naked, singing Sourwood Mountain loud as I could. Well, after that village, I know there wasn't no way we could win this war. Them people was fighting for their homes. Hell, most of us, we didn't even know where we was, much less what we was fighting for. I told the captain, I said, we might as well go home. I said, the only way we can win this war is if we kill every man, woman, and child in the country. Because they ain't never going to do that. Well, after that, they started putting me on point every patrol we made. We come on this village one day. As soon as I see it, I know there was trouble. It's getting up toward the middle of the afternoon. It's time for us to break off. Head back to the base camp. You don't want to be caught out near dark. We may on the daytime, Charlie on the night. I told the lieutenant, I said, we got to leave. Well, just leave. Turn around right then. You know what he said? He's tired of my attitude. All we could see was this little old man and woman in front of one of the hoochies. The lieutenant said, we're going in. It was the weirdest thing. The whole place was deserted, except for this little old man and woman. There was dogs and pigs running around. Some of the hoochies had fires going in front of them, but it was empty, except for them two. As soon as we come in, they started smiling and bowing. No Kong, they said. We had this Vietnamese interpreter. Buddy, I could tell he was spooked. He wanted to get the hell out of there and quick. The lieutenant made him ask where everybody was. Over there, they said, working. How many people live in the hooch? Just them, they said. But I saw about 20 pounds of rice cooking in a pot. I know that's feeding a lot of people. I said, we better get the hell out of here. We better get out and quick. He made me check the rest of the hoochies, see what I could find. I didn't find nothing. I know where it was. It was underground. I damn sure didn't want to take the time to find it. I said, let's burn it. I said, we'll burn it, and when it gets smoking real good, we can move out, and we'll use the smoke for cover. We ain't gonna burn down no friendly village, he said. But finally, he said, we're moving out. I'm on point. And my gut starts tightening up. I must have wet myself because I feel something warm running down my leg. And in Cleveland, this black guy, he's next to me. His head exploded. And I know we're taking fire. I ain't wet myself. I'm hit. I'm hit! We're taking fire from all sides. They waited till we got out in the open, away from the village. They had us hemmed in like pigs in a pen. There was AK-47 fire coming from the village, same hooch where that old man and woman was. Every time we try to get together and try to concentrate fire, they'd lob a mortar in on us. We couldn't move out. We couldn't return fire. The lieutenant, he got the radio. I can hear him calling for the choppers. He's screaming at the top of his lungs, saying, "Get us out of here! Get us out of here!" I know there wasn't a way for no chopper to get to us. It's hard to tell how many people have been hit. You could hear people screaming all over the place. I wrapped the bandage around my leg, tied my belt around it. The medic was dead. I don't know how long we lay there. It started to get dark and rain. And then I heard something. It sounded like choppers. And it was. There's two of them. They come in low, guns wide open. There's blasting a tree line in front of us. We started trying to drag the wounded together and then get them over toward the front, toward the choppers. One of them come in, and the other was covered. He just touched down, and the whole thing exploded. One big fireball, it was gone! Gone, gone, man. That piece of the metal fire. The other one, he broke off. He said there wasn't no way he'd have to have more firepower. That lieutenant went crazy. He started screaming, begging them not to leave. By that time, it was dark, still raining. We laid there all night in that mud. You could see the fires in the village, hear people talking, laughing, smell food. Every once in a while they'd lob another mortar in on us just so we didn't get too comfortable. All night long, there was people praying and crying. Well, I started crawling toward our M60. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I damn sure wasn't going to wait for them to come get me. It was getting daylight. Still raining like hell. I come on a rise. I put in a belt, and I started firing. And I kept firing at anything that moved till there wasn't nothing moving. By that time, my squad had moved up. They started firing. They emptied, reloaded, kept firing. There wasn't no calm. Except villagers. Yeah. Charlie moved out already, before daylight. They didn't care about them people. They used them just like we did. We killed the dogs, the pigs, the people, chickens, and the buffalo. All of them. Then we set fire to the village. 28 people. Assorted animals. We had 6 dead, 8 wounded, 1 chopper gone. They said we won. Well, after that, I didn't wait. I learned my lesson. It didn't matter if you could see Cocke or not. They was there. Whether they was underground, whether they was nearby. If we wasn't there today, they'd be there tomorrow. I just opened up. It didn't matter about right or wrong. The only way we could win was to kill everybody.
In your dreams, try to think of me, for I will be dreaming too. Then no matter where you may be, you'll know someone thinks of you. And the moon is shining on the mountains. You've seen it many times before. Come home to the people who love you. You'll always find an open door. Now sometimes your mind it will wander, and sometimes you think you've lost your way. But if you will listen to your heart, it'll bring you home one day. And the moon is shining on the mountains. You've seen it many times before. Come home to the people who love you. You'll always find an open door. And the moon is shining on the mountains. You've seen it many times before. Come home to the people who love you. You'll always find an open door. I got a home somewhere I'm leaving today. I got a home somewhere I'm leaving today. I got a home somewhere a heartbeat away. Whoa, dark waters are rising. I'm leaving today. Them dark waters are rising. I'm leaving today. I got a home somewhere a heartbeat away. Oh, I want to see my father. I'm leaving today. I want to see my mother. I'm leaving today. I got a home somewhere a heartbeat away. Oh, I got a home somewhere I'm leaving today. I got a home somewhere I'm leaving today. I got a home somewhere.
stop. It just comes to a resting place. And the story stops, and the world comes to a resting place. The story is about, not about the past, it's about the future. About the world we live in today. That's what the story's supposed to be, and that's about all it can do. We don't quit. We are going to come to a rest. If you want to carry the story on, God, there's enough of you to do it. Or what you would like to do is have a chance to get a word in edgewise. We'll be here for a while, and we'll be glad to talk with you. And thank you for coming. We appreciate it. We appreciate the opportunity of being here and being a part of this thing. Thank y'all very much.